Hello, Internet, and welcome once again to the Free-to-Play cast brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, a.k.a. Magicman, and this is episode 331. We're recording on the 13th, Friday the 13th of March. You're watching it the same day or later. We've got new releases, expansions, and a ton more to talk about, including some predictions maybe falling in my favor so far this year. We'll see how that pans out as the year goes on. We're only a quarter into it. Joining me on the line, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, sir?
I hope if you're rubbing your hands together, they're clean. You've washed them recently.
There was sanitizer in between them during that rubbing.
Because we've got 300. This is episode number 331. So there are 330 more episodes out there for you to watch on YouTube if you're just stuck at home with nothing to do for a little while. So
that is a lot of free-to-play casts.
Just binge through all those like it's a big old Netflix series.
That is a lot of casting. Also on the line, Ms. Quinlan Bowers. What's up, Q?
Oh my god, my brain just exploded.
You should probably see a doctor about that.
I mean, there's a serious short circuit there for a minute. I don't know what the hell happened. Anyway, how are we already a quarter of the way into the year? How did that happen to us?
March, halfway through March, almost there.
Oh my gosh.
But Can we make it to the end? That's the question.
Right. So obviously, if you're, self-quarantining or under a kind of a quarantine, or anything like that right now, obviously we wish you well. Stay safe, wash your hands, don't touch your face. I always like that advice, right? Don't touch your face, don't touch your face, don't touch your face. Because the first thing somebody does when, see, Q just did it. The first things, the first thing when you say, hey, just try not to touch your face, it's just like, there's always a little itch right there. It's like telling somebody to calm down, right?
Yeah.
Q, calm down.
It's like when you do the dishes or something, right? Your hands are wet,
yeah.
And you're just like, all of a sudden, your entire face itches, and you're like, what the hell?
Yep. So everybody stay safe, do what you can, keep your friends and loved ones safe, and enjoy some free-to-play cast and some new games. Luckily, over the next week or two here, we have a lot of new games or big expansions or releases, so let's slide over to the news and get started covering those. All right, first up, kind of the big one. You have been able to access this one for about 2 weeks now for if you if you purchase the big-ass Founders Pack, which I don't know if you did, no judgments, but that might have been a bit risky. That's like buying a plane ticket right now. Bless Unleashed does now officially have a release, so if you bought a Founders Pack and you were in early access, great, but if you didn't, you can now get into it exclusively on the Xbox One still. And we'll expect a first look on this one probably next week, mid to late next week. There's another story we're going to be talking about here that I think I'll knock two birds out with one stone, and because they're Xbox One exclusives, and I'll bring it all over here and hook it up to the Elgato capture card so that I can get both of those first looks done at once. We'll talk about that other one in a minute. But Jason, let's start with you first. Now, we've seen the trailer. You've seen my alpha feedback. Q is green. God damn it.
Jeez.
God damn it. Ah!
I still don't know what. Oh, wait. No, never mind. I was going to say it still shows up. Yeah, in my preview, it still shows up normal. I don't understand. I've yet to figure out what the deal is.
Hopefully it'll go away here in a second. Jason, you've seen the trailer. You've gotten my alpha feedback, my early beta feedback. I haven't touched the official launch to kind of chime in on what's changed or anything. But now we're starting to see people review it a little bit, talk about it, give their opinions. What are your overall thoughts so far?
That we're not as much seeing people talk about it and give their opinions. Not nearly as much as was the hype for Bless Online when that came out.
That's true.
And I think part of it is the fact that it's only like you've talked about before. The fact they're carrying over the names. A lot of people are associated with Bless Online, which didn't do well, and people were not that happy with. So some people aren't even looking at Bless Unleashed. It's also only on the Xbox, which I think is also hurting its exposure a little bit. And I think just in general, there's not as much interest in Bless Unleashed because of the negatives that it's carrying into it. It might be okay. Like, I'm not hearing anybody say anybody trash it necessarily, but I'm just not hearing people talk about it in general either. So I think it's just going to be a lesser thing than Bless Online was. And even overall in the MMO industry, hey, Q's not green.
Nope.
just overall, I think it's going to be a smaller title than the original one was.
Oh, absolutely agree there, Q. And I think putting it on the Xbox One exclusively, obviously, already diminishes the audience that's going to get a hold of it, on top of the audience that was probably interested in it being a little smaller. It does kind of give me concerns for longevity of the game. Now, we don't know if in the future this will expand to PlayStation 4 or come to PC in any type of way. We don't have any indication that that's going to happen. But I would think that at some point that has to happen, right?
I don't know about PlayStation, but I would think just, compatibility-wise that it would make sense for it to end up on PC. And at least expand the audience. But at the same time, so many PC players were burned by Plus Online. I don't know that they give enough of a crap to bother with this.
Yeah, they kind of forced themselves into a spot where they had to go for a different audience. We pissed off the PC audience. This is a good point, Q. So many times that we kind of have to go to this different audience. So Metacritic, by the way, 7.3 from the users, all 6 of them.
What was Bless Online? I wonder. Let's see.
No critic review scores for it on Metacritic yet. Just users.
Oh, okay.
For Bless Unleashed. I don't know about Bless Online. Are you looking it up?
I'm sure there's critic scores.
I'm sure there are critic scores for Bless Online.
There was only one. It was a 55. The user review. There are only 2 user reviews. What?
Were they wiped?
I feel like they were probably wiped because the game
they were so negative.
Well, there are 3 and a 1 are the 2 user reviews, so there you go.
Yeah, they're doing well. So if you've checked out Bless Unleashed, let us know in the comments below what you think. And again, look for our first look video sometime next week. Moving on to other big releases or expansions that came out this week or are coming out shortly here while we're all sitting at home with social distancing. Jason, PlanetSide 2 got its escalation update finally, right?
Final.
After delay, after delay, after delay. They finally got it. But on launch was delayed the day it was supposed to launch. They were having some maintenance issues getting it up and running, and now it appears we're still having some issues with this big-ass PlanetSide 2 update that a lot of players were really looking forward to.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't want to get all those soldiers together because they can spread the virus and so forth. So
right.
You had to be a little careful about that. But
PlanetSide 2, very socially responsible.
Yeah, very large groups, that sort of thing and so on. But yeah, it was originally announced. I think it was going to be February 19th was the original launch date.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it got pushed back a week to the 26th, and they said now we have to do some more stuff. Which, they said, hey, this is going to be our first big release as the new Rogue Planet games, the new subsection of Daybreak. Want to make sure they get it right. So they finally did it yesterday. Like I said, they announced it was going to go out in, was it yesterday or I think Wednesday maybe. They said it was going to go out at 4 o'clock Eastern. Wanted to be delayed an extra couple hours to around 6. Finally, they got it out. And they're still having some errors. What was it? It was, there are some issues with the resources for spawning a Bastion or something. So yeah, maybe it needed more testing. I don't know.
Have you jumped in yet? Being a PlanetSide 2 guy, I kind of figured this was something that would at least get you back in for a little bit. Maybe not long term or have you staying for a while, but at least this was enough to go, that's kind of neat. I want to check it out.
I don't play Russian money laundering schemes.
Oh, man, you used to love this game.
I used to, but I don't anymore.
Oh, so. Could they get you with a PlanetSide 3?
They'd get me to do the first look. I did the first look for Arena. I did the first look for PlanetSide Arena. So, I'd at least do the first look. So.
Oh, fair enough. Q,
By
I know.
The way, they say that's not... They keep talking about how they're kind of still trying to work on... PlanetSide 3 is semi-announced. They're sort of maybe doing something on it, but...
Yeah, they've done a lot of... Well, here's what the story would be. We talked about that like a couple of weeks. Here's what the story would be. But, oh, wait, fast forward... I wasn't saying that it exists. I was just saying that this was what the story might be if I was developing it. So, yeah, it's got to be in development at this point.
Oh, sure,
it has to be.
Sure.
I mean, the only thing that would stop it is financing, which, to be fair, might be a bit of a concern. So,
When has Daybreak ever tried to launch a game and then not actually launched it? I mean, come on, it's never happened.
Yeah, and then they had Holly Longdale just depart recently.
Yeah.
So if you're an EverQuest fan, that one kind of stings. Holly's been with that team forever. Don't know where Holly's going, but apparently greener pastures. As soon as we find an announcement, we'll let you know that too. Q on the other side of the spectrum, talking about something a little more traditional MMORPG than the battling of PlanetSide Arena or PlanetSide 2's characters. Skyforge celebrating its 5th anniversary, and they're kind of, I hate when games do this. They're billing this as an expansion. When you look at it, it's more of a really big update, right?
They tend to do that though when they get on their anniversaries. They're like, yeah, and we're celebrating the anniversary with an expansion. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. And I feel like expansions are just kind of getting, like what they call expansions are just getting smaller and smaller anyway. To be honest.
Yeah, true. I mean, the main games you see the expansions for now are like the more established MMOs that are still profitable. You know, your World of Warcraft, your Final Fantasy 14, even Star Wars: The Old Republic. Jason, we've had that debate on, is this really an expansion? Because everything's a fucking expansion for that game, as far as the PR billing goes. But Q, what are they doing in Skyforge? What could players look forward to on any platform they're playing there?
Well, they're adding a new divine form that's the blue life force of infinity.
Ooh.
I'm not.
life forces have colors now.
Yeah.
And it's of infinity. So.
Yes. Well, of course it is. I mean, it's all encompassing.
And then, of course, as seems to be like a thing for games now, they have an Atlas thing going on, their Invasion Atlas, which is the progression system, helping them keep track of all of that stuff. And, of course, there's also an Invasion Pass, and I stalled.
We see you.
We can see you, but you're frozen.
You let up a
there
little.
You go. There you go.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, it's kind of the basic stuff. I don't even know why. I do not include passes, like any kind of pass,
right,
as part of an expansion.
Right.
It's thing you buy separately. It's not. It's irritating.
Now hold on.
Uh-oh.
I just gotta go. I gotta go back to the email because I didn't remember seeing expansion listed in the email. I gotta look at that. Go ahead, keep talking. Do whatever you want.
No, to be fair, this is not on.
Oh, okay, they did call it 5th anniversary expansion.
Yeah, they do call it 5th anniversary expansion. But I don't think that they were trying to imply that it was a game expansion. They were trying to imply, hey, for the 5th anniversary, we're expanding, right?
Well, that could apply to anything.
Right. But the way the headlines on other sites read, it was Skyforge celebrates with an expansion, you know, and so it kind of got.
It
That's
does
why I don't look at them.
technically expand the game.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, as any update does, even if it's expanding the back end that you cannot see. This one comes out a little bit later. You got 2 weeks to prep for it. It's going to kick off on March 25th if you're playing on the PC, March 26th if you're playing on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. And now we circle back to why there'll probably be Bless Unleashed and another Xbox One first look sometime next week.
I bet you're more excited about one than the other.
A little bit. I'm grinning like an idiot because Phantasy Star Online 2 has announced their open beta. It will be going live this coming Tuesday on the Xbox One. That's on the 17th at 5 Pacific time. So my time, it'll be Tuesday night, 8 o'clock at night. Not only have they announced that that's when the open beta will kick off, but they also have announced that that is when the Phantasy Star Online 2 Founders Pack goes on sale. There is only one of these. There's not 7 different models. You either buy a Founders Pack or you don't. It's $60 or you don't. And it's got a bunch of consumables and things like that in there that I'm sure you'll want. Inventory boosters, you know, that's going to be worth $15 of the pack right away. Is totally worth purchasing that. So look at the other $45 and what's in the pack to see if it's something you want. 30 days of premium time. bunch of XP boosters, stuff like that. But they also contain the Sonic and Tails outfits and emotes and skins for your weapons. So if you want to run around the world looking like Sonic the Hedgehog or Tails, you can go ahead and do that. Kind of cute, whatever. It's Sega. They do their own game. I don't know if I told you guys about this. So at one point,
is this another Fantasy Star Online 2 story? Gosh, we don't get enough of those.
It's a really short one. It's about the closed beta that I was in, and why this is like no surprise that Sonic is appearing in here, because they just don't care about immersion when it comes to their own titles. Just walking around the social area, the marketplace in there, and there's a number of different screens. There's one big screen above the stage for the different concert events, and then there's a number of smaller screens spattered all over the map here. And they play like if there's an emergency mission going on, like you see briefing stuff appear on the screen, and it's flashing and ships, and you can see them coming to the base and all this shit. So it's kind of cool. Out of the corner of my eye one time, I saw Jim Carrey as I was running by. I was like, what was that? So I turn around and I look at the screen, and it's playing the actual Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailer on the screen, and even on the big screen above. So it's no surprise to see Sonic and Tails in the Founders Pack here. So next Tuesday night, I am super excited about this. No word on the PC beta yet. A lot of people asking about that one, tweeting the account. No word on that yet. All they've said is that they are still targeting a spring release for the PC as well. So spring technically starts in what, Jason? 6 days?
Yeah, something like that, about a week.
And then runs for 3 months. So sometime in the next 3 months. Jason, have I converted you into checking this out at all over the last 3 months?
Yeah, I will check it out when it comes to PC. I will do that much at least.
Yay! All right.
You know what the missed opportunity here though is? It's a missed opportunity for the Sonic Drive-In to have done a Sonic movie tie-in. How did they not do that?
Yeah, the fast food place.
Yeah.
That would be kind of neat. Little cross-promotional thing. I will be buying that Founders Pack, too.
Oh, I know.
Well, just one.
Okay.
I got to buy the inventory expansion items anyway, so might as well become Sonic and run around there. Q, any interest in this when it launches on PC? I know neither of you play on the Xbox, so you're both waiting for PC.
Yeah, this is totally in my wheelhouse. So it's something that, provided our internet situation is fixed by that point, which hopefully may.
Hey, well, they said for your internet, spring 2022. So everything's getting fixed for Q to play Phantasy Star Online in spring of 2020. All right, so yes, I'll be doing a first look for that game as well. That's why I'll just kind of knock them both out at the same time, because I really don't have my consoles hooked up over here with the Elgato capture card all that often, besides the PlayStation 4 behind me for streaming more than capture. So got to bring the Xbox One X over here. Before we leave the updates and everything, again, if you're sitting at home, not allowed out, don't want to go out, anything like that, got all your snacks, got your food, got your toilet paper. God, for God's sakes, get your toilet paper to make sure.
Toothpaste now.
Make
Toothpaste.
Sure, yeah, make sure you have your toilet paper. Destiny 2's season has started. Its 10th season, the Season of the Worthy. Terrible naming. Season 10, Season of the Worthy. And we've got not just the Rasputin storyline continuing from previous story content, but then we also have the Trials of Osiris back for you 3v3ers that want to do some higher-end PvP, try and win your way up the ladder with consecutive wins, and a lot of other content. Jason, I don't know, have you jumped in yet? Because I want to tell you something if you didn't.
I haven't yet, but I do plan to probably this weekend. So what is the thing you're going to tell me?
I'm going to be playing some more tonight. I played a little bit yesterday
just
because I wanted to see. I only had like 20 minutes, but I wanted to see something very particular. So I jumped in, and the quest screen is infinitely more manageable.
Oh.
You still have a section of like all the items, but on the left now there's like 6 or 7 panes, and you mouse over it and it says this season exotic quests, exotic weapon or armor quests, previous seasons, this, and then you just click on the one and it brings up just the items for those particular quests. It is a lot better. It's still not perfect. I'd like to see some more in there, but it is a hell of a lot better than trying to mouse through everything.
All right, I'll have to check that out.
Yep. And I've started the Rasputin storyline, so that's cool too, going into public events and things like that. The thing I asked the audience about last week did not have an answer, as it was. So the quest I was trying to get the drop for to open up the next vault, because I was behind on that content, they had removed those quest requirements. All you had to do was open one vault now, and then the other vaults were automatically open by default and are part of the daily rotation. So literally all I had to do was wait until the next day, and I could have gone into... I farmed Fallen for 4 hours.
Well, hey.
I was so angry. All right. Moving on here to some other big news. This is kind of releasey and updatey, but we put it as its own separate topic because we don't have a date for it. It may not even happen this year. It may be a 2021 thing. We just really don't know yet. But Jason, I'll let you spill the beans for some Guild Wars 2 fans, since you had a chance to talk to the team.
Well, yeah, we talked to the team about something else, but I can't talk about that yet. But yay, Cantha! Woo! Cantha expansion. Yes, they formally announced. They said they are working on the next expansion. Development is underway on a third Guild Wars 2 expansion. That's the exact word from the dev blog. They didn't say anything about it. They didn't say any words to say what it was, but the picture attached to it has a very Cantha-like look to it, so it's pretty certainly going to be based around that area.
Q, this is what a few episodes back when we said, what does Guild Wars 2 have to do or announce to get you to come back in right now? It was overwhelmingly announce a Cantha expansion.
Well, I guess maybe they heard and decided to go with it. I mean, that, or, that it's been in the works for a while, would be the reasonable thing, and they just decided to sneak it out on everybody.
Well,
but
they said
good,
that. Go ahead.
Good for everybody who wanted it. I mean, I'm excited for them.
I mean, they're saying it could have been 2 weeks ago. They said development is underway. They might have just said, "Hey, are we going to do this?" Someone said, "Yes." Okay, development started. So it really has been that long.
And with that, development has begun.
yeah, just like the Elder Scrolls 6 is in development.
Maybe that's how it works,
Okay, I gotta say, it doesn't do much for me. But that's only I'm gonna venture a guess here, Q and Jason, that is because I wasn't a huge Guild Wars 1 player. So Cantha doesn't have that nostalgia or pull for me that it might for some Guild Wars 1 players. I'm excited that it's getting an expansion. I will certainly jump in and check. ArenaNet is usually actually really generous with that type of stuff when it comes to press. They normally get everybody into the expansion so that we can cover for you, which is very nice of them. They don't have to do that. So it's appreciated that they do. I'll check it out. But Jason, honestly, I just think maybe Guild Wars 2 is a bit too far gone for me at this point. I still have 2 characters that are from
still in the Silver Waste.
Yeah, they're still in the Silver Waste from the previous expansions, getting a free it's not even locked in that's going to be their class yet. I don't know what it is. It's not that I don't like the game. I think it's beautiful.
Yes, it is.
I love a lot of the things they do. I do enjoy it when I'm playing it. But I just can't stay with it. And I don't know if it's just one of those things that if I had friends playing this, perfect. I just don't know a lot of people playing Guild Wars 2, so I kind of get in there. I have some fun for a couple of days. But then when the time comes, it's like, oh, do I want to make some more Destiny 2 season progress, or do I want to keep going in Guild Wars 2? I'm going to go play Destiny. It just doesn't stick for me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, this is like what I talked about a while back. If you look on Steam and a game has 85% positive ratings, you go, oh, that's pretty good. But the problem is there are still the Steam Spy used to do this. It would say a game that had 83 was only in the top 50% of games. There were still 50% more games that were more popular than that you were more likely to play. So yeah, games might be good, but there's just too many of them right now. So we don't play the ones that are still pretty good.
What was your feeling on the expansion announcement? Because you do have kind of a soft spot for Cantha. I will give you not as much as some of our viewers did, but it does have a little soft spot in your heart.
Well, sort of, because I never actually played Factions. That was the Guild Wars expansion that introduced it, so I never got around to that. I did play the previous expansion, the Nightfall, which was where Alona came from, which was the focus of the last expansion, and that was what also that people wanted before that came out. People wanted Alona and Cantha because those were the two big areas that were in Guild Wars 1.
Now they're gonna have them both.
Well, the thing is, everyone was like, "Oh my god, an Alona expansion! This is awesome! This is amazing! I love it! It's going to be amazing!" And it was sort of okay. Now the Cantha expansion is coming up. People are like, "It's going to be amazing! I love it! I can't wait for it!"
It was amazing for one financial quarter.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 1.5 really. So yeah, it's
only because of the odd release date.
Yeah, sort of.
Q, does this get you back in at all? Like, were you a Guild Wars 1 player? I don't know.
No, and I played, I don't know, maybe 2 zones of Guild Wars 2 and quit.
Oh, so this does nothing for you. Phantasy Star Online 2 or bust, Q. Let's do it. It could be our new Rift. What would we call it, though? Rift. Playing Rift while drunk was called drifting. What would be Phantasy Star Online 2 while drunk? I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. We'll have to figure out what that's called. How to make that work. Nothing witty to go there, Jason? You don't have a good one?
Fantasy Sloshed Online. I don't know.
Close enough. It's a work in progress. We'll figure it out.
We'll think about it.
I'm sure the viewers are now going to comment with some
question of the week. What do we call it? Fantasy Star Online 2.
Possibly. All right, before we move on to the weekly bombs and everything, we did post our Call of Duty Warzone first look up on the site yesterday or the day before, whatever, in the last 48 hours. Go and check it out. It is a little longer. Jason and I did a dual first look. We check out the Battle Royale mode. We check out the Plunder mode, which is also available for free-to-play players. And we got to have both perspectives in the video. I thought this was a really nice first look, Jason, at the end of it.
Both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to record it twice. I was playing on my 4K monitor, but for recording was not playing in 4K, and the 4K monitor did not like that. And when I watched the playback, I was like, look, I'm bad at this game, but I'm not even aiming in the right areas as far as this goes because of the stutter that was on my 4K monitor. So we did it a second time. But Jason came at it with the perspective of a free-to-play player, and I got to come at it with the perspective of somebody that owns Call of Duty Modern Warfare, has all the options, has played it pretty substantially, and done a lot of PvP. And so we got a nice comparison of like what was available, what wasn't. Since we're talking the free-to-play version here more than buying the game, Jason, let's go to you first. As a free-to-play player, I know we had one big concern on why you may not try this out. Let's save that for a little bit. But inside the game, what were your general feelings about the game, its performance, the availability of different features, things like that as a free player?
It's like you with Guild Wars 2. It's a game that I thought it was all right, and if it was the only battle royale around, I'd play it. But when there are other things out there, as someone who's not into Call of Duty and so forth, and who is a free player, I just don't think I'd want it so much, because a part of it is that the progression is kind of iffy. You can't get skins. You can't earn skins via gameplay. You earn a lot of other things. You can earn weapons. You can earn sprays and so forth. But new operators, new skins for them, that's something you can't get via gameplay. So that's a big negative.
I thought there were some skins in the season pass.
If you pay for it, that's what I'm saying.
They weren't. There was none on the free. I didn't go and check everything on the free spots. But I thought there was those first couple.
One you get by doing the tutorial.
Right.
You get. Right. But after that, you can't earn guys. You can't, build up currency to buy them or anything like that. There's nothing like that. So you can't get another skin in there without paying, except for the one you get for the demo.
Q, you just rolled your eyes like that was the dumbest feature you'd ever heard.
I did actually watch, part of the video this time, because I get bored watching people in battle royales.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
Well, it's the way the games are designed, right? There's a lot of time where you're just kind of building up to there actually being action. But I did watch the portion where you guys discussed what was in it, and I was just sitting there going, why? Like... they built. I know, I get why they want you to go and buy Modern Warfare. That's exactly what the point is. They want you to, but it's just, the whole thing is just stupid to me.
Yeah, and that's kind of where both Jason and I landed at the end of this. Number one, it's a beautiful game. It better be. It's the latest Call of Duty, and that's one of the big primary selling points of that franchise, right? Besides other things like the PvP and stuff. So it is a beautiful game. It performs well, with the exception of sometimes the launcher being a huge pain in the ass, and it's launching and installing shaders all the damn time. But other than that, it's generally stable and doesn't have any issues. The Battle Royale formula is there. The encroaching cloud, the working in squads of up to 3, the finding the weapons, all that stuff is there. There's a neat little add-on to it. In the respect that the first time you die, you are captured instead of killed and taken to the gulag, and you will randomly fight one-on-one with somebody else that was just recently killed and sent to the gulag. You can watch the fights from above while you're waiting for your fight to queue, but these are very quick. They're like 15 to 20-second one-on-one matches. If you win that one-on-one match, you're redeployed onto the field. That's kind of neat. That's a neat little feature. If you die a second time, you're then out. Or your opponent or your teammates, your squad mates can pay to res you and stuff like that. So all of the Battle Royale stuff is there. The Plunder mode, I think, Jason, you and I enjoyed the Plunder mode a little more than the Battle Royale. That was more tactical, trying to gather money. You can respawn in it when you die. It is a timed affair, and all the squads are competing to raise as much money or find as much cash as possible. Turned into the last 10 minutes of the Plunder match, like 3 different squads fighting over the TV station. It was fun. We did enjoy it. All of that is there. And I get, Q, what you're saying is, let's put this out for free and entice people to buy the product. But I think I disagree ultimately with the way it's done. I understand why this is inside the Call of Duty client. It makes it very, very easy for people who own your game to run their update and have the new modes available. But when you do that, it forces Jason, or Q as the free-to-play player, to download an 80 to 100 gigabyte file. 80% of which, Jason, are menus you couldn't even use.
Right. Probably maps, probably a lot of other assets and so forth that I'm never going to see if I'm just a free player.
And everything was trying to entice you to buy it in that client. Like every menu option was like, buy Call of Duty, buy Call of Duty, buy Call of Duty. I get it. I know why they're doing it. But Q, 80 to 100 gigs is a huge ask to play they're treating as an advertisement.
I think I went and looked it up, right, when Jason mentioned the file size, and then somewhere else it said like 100 and like enough that I looked at it and was like, okay, I have hard drives smaller than this still, like just sitting around. But when I went and looked it up, I was like, okay, so, what's Fortnite? And it's like less than 20 gigs. What's Realm Royale? And it's like 12 or 13 or something like that. And it's like, why am I going to download this unless you just really like Call of Duty? There is no reason for you to download this game to play a Battle Royale.
Right, but if you really like Call of Duty, you already bought it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you already own it. This was just an update for you. Granted, a big update too, as far as it's
20 gig or whatever.
But it was that's still 20 gigs on top of what was already there.
Sure.
So it's not like it's a small file, but I have to believe that this could have been made more enticing, Jason, by putting it inside the Call of Duty. But if you click on the free Warzone thing, it's a portion of the download, and then by purchasing unlocks the rest of the download. It didn't have to be this forced download hard drive hog of a client for you to play a Battle Royale. And I think that is going to be a huge turnoff for a lot of people who maybe would have given this a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it seems like it was done almost hastily. They're just like, get it out there as quick as possible. Yeah, who cares if it's got a big download? It doesn't have all the features people would want. Just get it out there, and we'll see where it goes from there. Maybe they'll make a patch later. They'll do something else to change it around, but that's when the momentum is going to be gone. So I don't know.
So to rate this one, I've gotta qualify my personal rating. My personal rating from somebody who owns the game and is just looking at this as additional modes for Battle Royale and Plunder modes, I gotta give it a thumbs up. It was fun. I did enjoy it. It performed well. When I'm playing Call of Duty, I can see myself occasionally queuing up for one of these here and there when I'm kind of bored of the standard PvP. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up with those caveats in mind. Jason, Q, you two give me your thumbs up, thumbs down. We'll start with you, Q.
Yeah, down. Just because for a free-to-play player, it makes no sense to me.
Jason?
Yeah, I agree that it was fun and it was a good fun to play, but I have to give it a down because if nothing else, I'm going to uninstall it as soon as we're done with this podcast. Now that I know I'm done with it.
Yeah, and I can't blame you at all. And in fact, we're going to talk about that when we get to the question of the week. Let's slide over and do the weekly bombs. I think I'm just going to go first because mine is so transparent on this week here. I got to give a dub bomb to Phantasy Star Online 2 going into open beta this coming Tuesday night, my time. Here we go. I'm so excited. I can't wait to jump back in. I hope they don't have server issues. Ugh. Go ahead, Jason.
I'm going to give a dub bomb to Age of Wonders 3. Now, that was given out as a free game on Steam about a month or two ago. It was just one of those, get it, claim it today, and you get it free forever. So I was like, sure, what the heck, I'll try it out. Eventually got into it after a few weeks, and I've really been enjoying it. I'm surprised that I was actually interested in it. If you haven't played, I'd never played an Age of Wonders game before. If you haven't played, it's like Civilization. Yeah, you'll make units, you'll go around, build cities and buildings and so forth. But it's got a fantasy theme to it. Like I'm a human sorceress, and there are orcs, and there's elves, and whatever else out there. You can cast spells. You do like tactical battles, kind of like an XCOM kind of thing, where you go and do battles. So, really interesting. A different take on that whole like Civilization kind of feel to it. So, really been liking it. If it's on sale again, if you want to pick it up, give it a shot. I recommend it.
If you like picking races, you should play Phantasy Star Online 2. You could be a cast, a robot, or one of three other classes. Or
one of
races.
three
No.
yes,
One of three other races, Jason. Shush. 3 other races. This is the dumbest naming conventions ever. Human, Newman, and Dooman. You got the cast and the human, Newman, and Dooman. And what's the best about that is Jason, I sent him information to write up a piece, and he was like, wait, their races are really called the human, Newman, Dooman, and cast? And I said, yeah. And he goes, that sounds like Scrooge's or Donald Duck's nephews. And I was like, thank you, Jason, I love you. Because every time I hear that, like on a video, I think the exact same thing. Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Yeah, so whatever. Go ahead, Q.
I'm going to give a bomb to the thing I mentioned the first time we tried to record today, and then forgot about it because my brain froze. And that's the Internet Archive has like every pulp magazine from God knows when on it. So if you're really, really bored, if you're stuck in the house and really, really bored, go troll through it. And there's all kinds of sci-fi and like detective novel stuff and like all that stuff dating all the way back into the 40s. It's really cool.
Definitely something to do. From the viewers, Gesley says, I have an A-bomb for Wargaming and World of Tanks Game Pass. I've mentioned before that World of Tanks is one of the games I like to return to and play for some time with friends. We're enjoying Frontline event, and then a few days later comes out the video about the Game Pass. Not a big fan about that announcement, and when I read the comments under that video, I'm not the only one. Other games I usually don't mind, 10 to 15 euros or dollars for 3 months. It's okay, but I have not bought any until this day, and I don't feel like I lose anything when I don't buy them while playing that game casually. But World of Tanks Game Pass is 25 euro, and what you get out of it is not worth it, especially when some of that content was free a few updates ago, and then they removed them. Example, blueprints. And Gesley did put additional feedback on here, comparing some exact items, and even a video where somebody on YouTube is talking about this same thing. Obviously, for time, I'm not going to put it all in here. Thank you, Gesley, for the feedback there. But I did go and look at some of the additional stuff Gesley sent. And Jason, people are not happy about that Game Pass.
When I saw the video, I looked at it on YouTube, and it was about 50-50 like and dislike, or upvote, downvote, whatever. Let's see what it's at right now. So it is 231 upvote, 324 downvote. So yeah, it's It's not real popular.
Go ahead, Jason. Take the next one.
Elusive X Treasure, checking in for 2 weeks in a row now. Good for her. Says, just wanted to weigh in on the skins, no skins thing. I could see both sides of this. I have an on-again, off-again relationship with Heroes of the Storm. I think she's talking about Valorant and how they're not going to have any character skins because they said they wanted you to be able to identify the characters no matter what.
Yep.
All right, so it goes on. It says, I talk about Heroes of the Storm, especially since some skins are not only very different from the original, but sometimes emulate completely different characters, like Nova's Widowmaker skin. I have definitely been on the receiving end of skin confusion. However, I lean more towards foreskins. Oh my god,
that is
that
is unfortunate wording, Excel or Elusive X Treasure. That is very unfortunate wording.
Okay.
However, I lean more towards foreskins.
Two separate words here. Not.
How about I am more in favor of skins?
Let's go with it. Yeah, let's edit that a little bit. Anyway, see, when I first started Heroes of the Storm, I didn't have much to choose from. I began playing a hero that I immensely disliked as a character in her original game, but I liked her playstyle. To date, she is still my second most played hero. I would most likely not have continued to play her if I could not make her look as far from her classic self as possible. So I get both arguments, but I need my skins.
Fair enough. I get the argument too. I'm not going to debate anybody on that. Go ahead.
I am also pro foreskins. Yeah.
Go ahead, Q.
Right. Excel Kobayashi, regarding Guild Wars 2 Super Adventure Box, keep in mind that whenever a developer says that something like this is a lot of work, it doesn't mean that they're being lazy. In reality, there's no such thing. They have to be at work doing something anyway. Instead, what it actually means is that if they do it, they aren't working on something else. The fact that they did eventually do Super Adventure Box means that they did that instead of something else equally as big that they could have done instead. And no, don't try to say, well, they just hired extra people for that, because I can just make the same argument and say that those extra people could have done the other thing instead. Anyway, I'm glad we have Super Adventure Box, but don't forget that something else paid the price for that to be brought back. Just pretend we wouldn't have had an extra raid or rework old dungeons or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, I get the argument that, Jason can work on this or this, and we got to put him on one or the other. But I think this, Excel, as much as I love you, I think this argument is excluding or casting aside a number of other variables that do play in that. And I'm not going to go for the hiring one because, yeah, you're right. They could hire you for this or this. Same argument. Ahead,
I guess I'd have to look back to see what they originally said, but I thought that they said originally, we can't do this. Not that it would be a lot of work, or they said we can't because the code is different now or something like that. That's what I take issue with.
Yeah.
When you say we can't do it, and then a year later you do it anyway, you were lying. Or something along those lines. You were actually meant to say, well, yeah, it does take a lot of work. But instead they said, no, we just can't. So.
Well, if you want to, be kind to them, they could have thought that they couldn't have done it, and then somebody came along and figured out how to make it possible.
That's true. That could have happened as well. Yeah.
Yes, Excel, thank you for the feedback. David Clinch, dub bomb to the incredible Q Hulk being back because you turned green last week. I missed her, lol.
Turned green this week.
See, people enjoyed the Jello cam.
Yes.
So.
Go ahead, Jason.
Don't make Q angry. You wouldn't like her when she's angry.
No, you really wouldn't.
C-Seg says, Dub on to PlanetSide 2's Resurgence. Here's hoping the future is bright for one of my favorite games. How bright is it? Let's go to Steam charts.
Oh, God, that's not fair. Most people that are playing PS2 are playing through the launcher, I would imagine.
Yeah, but it still gets a boost, and it's got a pretty big boost. It was at around 2,000 or so, 1,500, 2,000 before, and it's hanging around about 4,000 or 5,000 now. So.
All right. Q, go ahead.
Raggedy. Yeah, Curse not having dedicated forums worked out so well for high res. If you forgot, they got rid of their forums and moved it to Reddit. Smart move, I know. They went back to having forums, but at least if I needed to look something up, I was able to look it up online without issue. Now you have to join a Discord and sift through hundreds of messages to find the thing I was looking for. Looking up wasn't answered. Okay, totally not annoying and a horrible way to do that. I am personally against the moving everything to Discord thing for just that reason.
Too. Yeah, and I do remember, Q, you and I and Jason, all three of us were at Game Breaker when High Res did that. dropped their forums, and we thought it was a terrible move, and they were just moving to Reddit, which arguably is just another forum. I can't stand when we get the pressers, and the only way to get information is to go to their Discord. I hate that.
Then we don't get their
don't
information.
want to join your Discord.
Yeah.
Unless I'm playing your game, I do not want to join your Discord.
Question of the week last week. What are your first impressions of Valorant? Roberto says, no character skins and no loot boxes. Laughing my ass off. So apparently somebody not quite buying that that's going to be the case. Go ahead, Jason.
Allwin says, I can feel it's going to be a great game.
All right. A little optimism. All right. Not too bad. Q, what's next?
Micro GFX, not really interested in Valorant. Don't think I'll give it a shot.
All right, so we got both sides of the spectrum already. Flip Frost Fang, I feel lukewarm about Valorant, so I won't try it. The point of having abilities is for them to have big impacts. This just looks like a mod from CSGO.
Nice.
Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, I just was thinking, too, that when we were talking about it a moment ago and I had to come up with the name, I almost called it Voldemort. It is the game that shall not be named. Defecto says, Valorant looks like a slightly supernatural CSGO. That wall works just like a smoke grenade. The bomb fired from a bow works like a frag grenade. It's just standard shooter mechanics with bland, colorful effects. Some people might want that, but it's definitely not for me. With all the creativity and pizzazz Riot put into abilities in League of Legends, you would think they can make something more exciting than this.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's like I was talking about, I think last week. It's like they don't want to go full Overwatch. They don't want to be as tactical as CSGO. They're trying to go in the middle, and they might not satisfy either. So
yeah, and I kind of thought that it might. You know, I understood your point. I can't argue with the logic of the point, but I thought, and you can go back and watch last week's show, that hitting that middle ground might be nice, actually. You know, something a little more serious than this, but not quite as serious as this. That might find a nice niche audience. I was surprised how much feedback was like, this should have come out years ago. This isn't going to be for me. I was kind of surprised by how much Jason was actually on your side of this argument. That was like, I already got my game. This doesn't do anything enough for me to want to leave it. Question of the week this week, along with our Call of Duty chat, is file size of a download a factor in you trying out any new free-to-play game? Doesn't have to be Call of Duty, Warzone, or anything like that. But is that something that you actually go look at, whether it's a concern with hard drive space available to you, whether it's bandwidth available to you as far as downloading it? Is the file size a concern? Could it actually make or break you actually trying out a free-to-play game? Why or why not? Put your answers in the comments below. While you're there, give us your weekly bombs. D-bomb for something good, A-bomb for something bad in the world of gaming, or just chime in and let us know how you feel, or throw a question for the panel, and I'll be happy to put it on next week's show. Until then, Q, where can everybody find you?
Goofing around on Twitter at Quitland.
Jason.
I'm on Twitter at Winter Informal, streaming at twitch.tv/Jason Winter.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally right down there. Come on, camera, switch. There we go.
Hey.
magicman1. But more importantly, while you're there, follow at MMOBomb so we can tweet at you all the latest news, giveaways, first looks, free-to-play weeklies, free-to-play cast articles, and so much more. Remember, gang, keep your hands clean. Stay safe. Have fun. Play some games. We'll see you on the servers.